Okay guys, we've come up to the Hartley's Crocodile Adventures. We're going to talk to Drew here. He's very experienced with crocodiles. We're going to learn all about them, especially in light of recent events and all the encounters and things like that. And you might even teach me a few things as well.
Don't hang over the side.
As you can see here, crocs are masters of camouflage. Not only can they hide in dirty, shallow water right at your feet, and they'll also blend into the background, whether it's the mangroves or foliage in against the banks. That little fella there's laying on a log, and if you didn't look too hard, you'd just think it was another log laying in the water. Righto, we're just going to feed one of these smaller fellas here and see how hungry they are. Yeah, bud? You tease them a little bit first?
Yeah,
or?
jump them around, find your dominant side either way.
Okay.
Wherever you're comfortable. And then when they come in, you'll see their head will angle up nice and vertically.
Yep.
So just hold it on a little bit lower on the surface there. So just hold it nice and still for them, let them focus. When they launch, lift it up, that's perfect.
Just teasing them a little bit first. Making work for his food. The crocodile management plan. There's a number of different zones, I believe, and different classifications. How do you see that plan? Is it working, or do you think it needs to be a little bit more stringent? Or, I mean, I love crocs.
So you're asking my personal opinion on this, right? Yeah. So I don't know all the ins and outs of the Queensland management plan for estuarine crocodiles, but from my understanding, they do have zones. That's true, Ryan. So down here around Cairns as an example, right? I think the rivers and creeks that come from Cairns out to Palm Cove are classed as exclusion zones, so they're meant to be removing, as far as I'm aware, all the crocodiles. Righto. Or as many as they can possibly remove. So they're meant to go out and monitor it, and there's private contractors that are meant to do this. Yeah. Upon saying that though, the management plan is definitely keeping a cap on the number of attacks, fatal and, well, non-fatal are creeping up, but you've got to remember, as you said, there's a lot more crocodiles and there's certainly a lot more people, so there is more interaction. So it's not like it was back in the 70s. Yeah. It's 2021, so there's 130,000 plus people in Cairns alone. Yeah. So there's more crocodiles, more larger crocodiles and more people. So they're not, in some regards, they're not doing too bad a job.
So mate, what have we got here? It's in the shape of a croc's head, basically.
So Ryan, what we've got a nest just over here.
Yes.
And next to it we have a wallow. So this is one of the tactics that some of the females use. Okay. Just to keep it a little bit cooler. Yeah. Because it is the hottest time of the year when they nest. Yep. So she's built it in the shade, which is a really good idea. And she's dug out the wallow next to it, rainwater fills it up, she can sit in there and keep cool, keep hydrated.
So they pretty much know how to regulate their nest for the best conditions for the eggs, basically.
Well, they don't always have that option, but these areas that are well shaded seem quite favourable. Yeah, okay. High competition for those areas. Yeah. So on average, they'll lay about 40 to 60 eggs in these nests. They'll bury them inside of it. Okay. And then the female guards it.
The crocodiles are in all the creeks and rivers around Cairns. Yeah. More in some than others. The Mowbray River here, who knows how many? I mean, you can see 5 some days sitting on those mud banks in the winter. Yeah. Wow. Geographical barriers, so running water they can push through, it's not a problem. They'll do that. Shallow water go through. And at Hartley's Creek here, mate, we get our water about 1 kilometre up. So you go up all these rocky outcrops and rapids, and it's above a 4-metre waterfall. Like it comes down off a waterfall. I mean, there's a bank that's pretty steep, like maybe a 60-degree incline. Yep. And the guys went up about 5 years ago, mate, and there's a 1.5 metre croc sitting in the waterhole. No one has seen that ever, as far as, I mean, some of the people have lived there their entire lives, they've never seen that. So like I was saying, safer behaviour is, 5 metres back at all times, fisherman or not. Don't get caught up in the excitement. So if you're pulling in a crab pot or pulling in a fish, don't forget, that's where people lose focus. Yeah. And they get all excited.
No hands over the side, pull it up from a distance.
Mate, and on the edge of the bank, they hook a big barrow, they get all excited, they go down, the croc's picked up, he's caught fish from people before, he's coming in underneath. They go down, mate, bang. Before you know it, you've got a near-death experience, So you can see, he's got 2 crocs here. One here at the front here is more the minimum exposure posture, which is about 2% of his body mass out of the water. Mm-hmm. This is the standard sort of posture they use. They're hard to see, and for us they look threatening, but for other animals that aren't as experienced or knowledgeable as humans, they may not appear to be a dangerous predator approaching. Yep. And he still has 2% of his body mass, but he's got his eyes, ears and nostrils exposed. Okay. But you caught the other one on film. He was sitting, or she was sitting a little bit higher. They call that barreling or high floating, like this. Yep. They don't have to do that. It's often, it can be just a natural behaviour they do innately, or it can be part of some type of communication, like a visual display for other crocodiles. Usually part of a multimodal display too, communication display. So while they're doing this, they can be vibrating their trunks a bit, or some new research in 2018 showed they actually make a booming sound underwater.
Okay.
Which is perhaps even an aquatic signature, could indicate size, gender, that type of thing.
Definitely. Drew, we've learned some interesting facts and talked about a few cool stories and stuff, but how do you see the future of crocodiles in Queensland or Northern Australia?
All right, so just so I know, you're just asking my personal opinion here. And crocodiles are a big field. Like, my specialty is, I guess, captive crocodiles, and particularly doing demonstrations and interpretive talks. But catching them even here, I haven't done for years, trapping them in the wild, analysing wild populations and their behaviour and their population dynamics. I only go on the research I can read and ones I see occasionally. But as for how I see them going, I mean, there's definitely sort of an agreement, I think, even with government guys, that the numbers will slowly creep up a little bit. To what level is unknown. Our numbers will continue to increase. I mean, they've got, 10,000 new houses to go on the southern side of Cairns? Exactly. And that's Cairns alone, let alone Port Douglas, even Cooktown, or other Townsville, or other towns in between. So the human numbers will increase on this eastern coast here. So I suspect if management stays as it is, you'll see more attacks. And based on the current information, maybe if we're luckily, non-fatal attacks rather than fatal. But what do they do with all these crocodiles as well? No one wants these male crocodiles. Yeah. So one way to shorten it would be to have people just go out and cull them. Not do a full-scale cull, but rather than trap them, because no one wants these males. No. And they're going to keep coming.
Okay guys, we've had an awesome few hours here at Hartley's Crocodile Adventures, just 15 minutes north of Cairns on the Cook Highway. I can't recommend this place enough to bring your kids, have a great day learning all about crocodiles and all sorts of other cool wildlife. So get on down here and check it out. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook and Insta, and if you only want some special tips we send out by email only, head on over to our website ryanmoodyfishing.com and sign up for free email updates. Get into the great outdoors, keep fishing smarter, and we'll see you next time.